Guys, what's up? What's going on out there today? Yeah, Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Look, another episode inside the Tennis Mindset Project today, and this is part five of a series that I'm entitling Mental Toughness Is Not This. And today's topic is tough love. And tough love really kind of, to me, takes it's kind of two areas. And I want to talk about the second one specifically. But the first one is more. Tough love is when you've got a coach or someone who's giving you a dose of reality, right? And it's not meant to be critical. It's not meant to you know, embarrass you or anything like that. It's simply here's the reality of what you're doing, or here's the reality of what you're not doing, right? And so that's one form of tough love is just being honest with you. And it's typically coming from a coach. I mean, for me, I had Tom Stowe back in the day. And boy, you talk about tough love. His was a little, his was a little on the tougher side. But it never made me feel like he was trying to be critical, like he was trying to embarrass me. It was always, look, you're doing this thing and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work and you're going to have to change it. And so that's one form of tough love. The other kind, the second kind, is this so-called self-tough love. And I see this a lot in the court. And I'm telling you, I used to be the master at it. And that was berating myself, right? I mean, really, after missing a shot or losing a point or doing whatever, right? But things didn't go right. This whole thing about just getting on your butt and just this self-tough love is brutal and it doesn't really move the needle, especially if you're trying to, if you're trying to become a better player. To me, it's like an excuse. It's like an excuse when you're really critical to yourself. I hear this, hear it a lot. I don't do it anymore because I've worked my way out of that. It took a long time. I mean, I really had to spend a lot of time in terms of creating a habit where something didn't go right. Man, I had to go to a different mindset. I had to go to a different self message because before it was some pretty nasty stuff that I know I would never ever say to any other human. Certainly, I would never ever say it to a student, but it was stuff. I mean, just crazy stuff, right? Calling yourself an idiot, calling yourself, God, you're never going to get better. God, I mean, how come you keep making the same mistake? Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. And then it gets into the thing where you're a little embarrassed by the mistake that you just made. And you go into this thing of letting the world know, or at least letting your opponent in singles or your doubles opponents over there or doubles partner know, oh God, that was such a bad bounce. Oh man, crap, like um, you're playing on a clay court or you're playing on a grass court or you're playing somewhere where the bounces are known to be a little funky now and then. Well, then you ought to be prepared for that. And when it happens, if you're going to tell the world, oh, yeah, what a bad bounce, man. I mean, normally I would make this shot. Stop it. Just totally stop it, right? Um, or that thing where you miss a shot and you go, really? You got to be kidding me. Oh, come on. As if you've never, ever missed that shot before. And so, look, we got to change the message because it doesn't, like I said in the beginning, it doesn't move the needle. It doesn't help you become a better player. And I'm assuming that's why you're watching this stuff. I'm assuming that the reason you're spending a little time with me is because you'd like to become better. You're not completely satisfied with where your skill level is, right? And you want to become a better player. And so, one of the ways we do that is with the way that we talk to ourselves. And I learned this, took me forever. So hard headed, so stubborn. I don't know why. I don't know why, it just was, right? And eventually I stopped trying to figure out, well, why do you do this, Brent? And it just went into, okay, well, you do this thing that's a negative messaging to yourself, negative self talk. Doesn't matter why you do it. we got to create some different habits. And the different habits are not like a light switch. I mean, you might get an epiphany. I mean, I made this mistake in the beginning. I would get these epiphanies. I'd get these aha moments about things I needed to change or something I needed to do differently, whether that was in stroke technique or whether that was in tactics or whether that was in the mental part of the game. Maybe the off-court training, whatever it was, but I would just think, okay, well, now that I've got the epiphany, I've got it. I can just turn it on and off whenever I want. And boy, that was dumb. That was really dumb. And so, look, you're going to if you're doing the self tough love thing, then you're going to have to create some new habits. And the habits themselves or the information that you've got to start telling yourself, the messaging you've got to start telling yourself, not tough. I mean, it's not hard to do. It's just that do you have the discipline to every stinking day on the court and off the court start practicing this stuff, start getting some reps in on how you respond immediately at the end of a point or immediately during a practice session when you miss a ball. How are you going to respond? And if you do it in the old tough love, right? Oh boy, tough love. That's the way to do it. No, it's not. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't help you get a clear picture of what you want to do instead. And so you just got to get some reps in there. You got to start training it. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I know how long it took for me. It was kind of a bumpy road for a long time. There were some days I had it, and there were like then I'd go for a week, I didn't have it. So the more I habituated it, the more I trusted in it. And this really gets into, another key thing, which is delayed gratification. And, um, one of these episodes on mental toughness isn't this. What it is it's believing and trusting in delayed gratification. And so that to me is where once you decide, okay, what I'm doing with this tough love is not good, it's not moving the needle. What I need to do instead is fill in the blank and just obsessively, insanely, you know, going just on a daily basis. Maybe it's something you stick in your phone and you just have a reminder that pops up two, three, four times a day. I mean, still to this day, I've got I've got a reminder that shows up twice a day that says read this stuff. And I read it. And if I don't read it, if I get lazy with it, I just that habit kind of starts to dwindle and go away. So look, here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. If you've not yet done this, I want you to pick up this free 9-minute video I've got for you. That's right, free. The link is down below. I want you to click it. I want you to drop in a first name, an email address, and you'll get immediate access to what I think, at least for me, has been probably the most important shift that I made mentally. And that was understanding what we do between points, what we do on side changes. And look, this is the 80-20 reality of playing matches. 80% on average, I'm not saying that's an exact number, but pretty darn close. 80% of the time during our matches, we're not playing points. Only about 20% of the time are we actually playing points. So if you don't manage the 80% really well between points and on side changes, you tend to be all over the map in terms of your skill level. Look, I know you've got a top level up here, but if you don't manage that 80%, there's now a real shot that you're going to start playing too often down here in the lower part of your skill level. I call that a skill level range. We want to make that as narrow as possible. The more that you do this 4 parts between points routine that I do, the more that you're going to bring the bottom of your skill level range up to the top to where you're consistently playing at your current top skill level. And once you do that, that's where confidence is built. And so confidence starts off the court by going through this 4 parts between points routine, habituating it so that when you get into matches, it feels really comfortable. It feels authentic to you, doesn't feel foreign. Again, it's not like a light switch. Uh-oh, I got a close match. I got to do this. I got to do this 4 parts between points routine now. No, you got to be doing this thing every stinking match. If you're playing tournaments and you got an easy match, you still don't want to get sloppy. You still want to make sure that you're doing this between points routine. If you're playing a league match, again, and you've got an easy opponent on that day, don't get sloppy because there's going to come a time when you got a tough match. And either that tough match is either the guy is, you guys are right at the same skill level, or maybe on that day, you're just not playing great, right? And that guy's all of a sudden, normally you'd beat this guy 2-2, but on this day, my God, you just don't have it together, and this guy's finding his top level of his range, whatever that is, and things aren't going well, right? So you need to make sure that you're doing this um, in every match. And look, I do it in practice matches as well. I want to make sure that I'm not getting sloppy with this habit. All right, look, what's on your mind from today's message on tough love, which is we know the two different types of tough love, and I encourage I you know what I mean, maybe you don't want to hear reality, and so you're one of those types of people, one of those types of players who doesn't ask questions from top players or from top coaches because you don't want to hear the answer, right? You don't want to get the reality check tough love from a coach who's been there, a coach who's done it, right? Or from a player who's currently doing it. And you just don't want to hear it because you know that if you hear it, all right, you're going to take it as criticism as opposed to how it's given. And the way it's given is, look, man, here's the reality. It's not critical. It's not trying to embarrass you. It's just saying, look, here's what you're doing, and there's a better way of approaching it. And so, but the other one is the one that we're really addressing today, which is that self tough love. Got to get rid of that. Just got to get rid of it. Even on those days when you're playing like crap and you lose to someone that you normally are going to beat 8.5 out of 10 times, right? That's just reality of the game. We don't win every stinking match every time. And if you are, then look, that just means I'm going to give you some tough love right now as a coach. You're playing players that are just well below your skill level. You got to get out there. Look, one of the things you got to do and I'm rambling today. That's fine. That's good. Um, one of the things that you got to make sure that you're doing on a regular basis, once a week for sure, you got to get your butt beat bad. You got to go out there and play someone who's going to kick your ass from here to there each and every time and just be thankful that they'll allow you that time on the court with them once a week. And and so you got to get comfortable getting beat, right? You got to get comfortable with that one player who's better than you and you just know you're going to get beat. That's fine. But the more you acclimate yourself to that guy's skill level, the more that you're going to start raising your game, the more you're going to start feeling comfortable and desensitizing yourself to what that upper level is. And so I encourage you to get out there, get your butt beat once a week, and don't look at it as an embarrassing thing. Don't look at it as, oh, I got to go in the clubhouse and someone's going to say, well, how bad was it today? So what? So what? Right? And then start playing more of those practice matches against someone who's got a style that you just don't like, right? Maybe it's a pusher. I'm just using that, throwing that out there as an example, right? Maybe it's someone who just gets every stinking ball back. The guy's in great shape, can't miss, and just feeds you a steady diet of nothing balls that you have to work like a dog to, if you want to create any kind of offensive opportunity, got to work like crazy. You ought to be playing that guy. Maybe it's a different style you don't like, right? Maybe it's someone who serves and volleys and is really good at it and you don't like that. All right, whatever it is, schedule that opponent in a practice session once a week. Now you got two practice sessions, right? Someone who's going to kick your butt every time badly, and then someone you don't like their style. You start doing that a couple times a week. I'm telling you, boy, the tough love message that you're giving yourself is going to change. And when you do, that's when you start to bring the lower level of your skill level range up to the top. And once you get up there, tennis is way more fun. Just a ton more fun. So, guys, again, reminder, if you've not yet done this, go get this 9-minute video. It's free. It describes each one of my 4 parts between points system, between points routine. And man, you need some reps with this thing. That's okay, right? The information's easy. Anyone can do it. And the first part of it is your solution to changing your negative apparent self tough love. It's just emotional control. You know, at the end of the point, what's the first thing you say to yourself? All right, well, we have free will to say anything we want to ourselves at any time. No one's got a gun to your head. No one's saying, well, you have to think this thought, which is a negative self tough love thought. You don't have to do that, right? You can change that. So, all right. Hope this has helped today. Would love to hear from you down below in the comments area. Any comments, any remarks, questions, feedback? Let me know. I love to read your stuff and respond. Guys, that's it for me today. As always, yeah, we got to get out there today. We got to help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, I will see you again next time.